creating pathways, staircases, and other features that can direct your visitors. Although the Marion Island is assembled to give you a lot of resources, it can also illustrate some points. If you look around, you can see how there are various pathways and bridges and staircases that are actually used to guiding the visitors. I've come in closer so you can see how this pathway was created. And notice when I go on the pathway, I can't get on it. It's up too high. Since I'm the owner of this pathway, I'm going to right-click it, click Edit, and I'll see that I can raise and lower the pathway. The pathway is actually made of a number of different objects. If you look closely here, you can see that it's got 7 primitives. So I created 7 different circles and linked them together to make this pathway. I called it Paver Plane Multiple Sections so that I'd remember that if I want to bring this out of my inventory again, it will actually cover several sections of pathway. Now, having an aggregate of pathways, paver stones can be helpful, but sometimes you really need to have more flexibility. So let's look at this single paver and how I created that. And if you click over to the texture area, you'll see that I brought in a texture that had a kind of cobbled background, and I brought in a color that made it look a little bit orangey. Now, if I'm moving into an area that may have some terrain issues, in other words, the terrain changes, I'll want to have the flexibility of having a single item that I can copy. So I've now still had this selected. I am clicking in on, let me come in closer, on the red handle. I'm holding Shift on the keyboard, and I'm pulling out a paver stone in this direction so that I can now be a little more controlled as I move down to the waterway. Okay, let me zoom out so you can see this better. Okay, so I'm now bringing in some more paver stones, and I'll just do the same again. And I'll bring this out and bring it down and start to create a more subtle pathway moving down to the water. Sometimes you'll get a flickering when you have some textures near each other, and you may need to adjust that if you're making your own pathways. In a similar way, you would, make staircases. And here's my little stairway going into a building that I created. And if I right-click on it, you'll simply see that these are just a number of primitives. I didn't even name them, which really isn't good procedure. But I just clicked on one, kept on pulling it out, making a little bit higher each time. Now, a good staircase should probably have a hand railing on it too, because some avatars don't walk too well, and they may fall out of the stairwell, off the stairwell. But I think for now we'll just keep this one simple. But remember to be guiding your visitors as they go around with pathways, with railings, bridges, whatever, to kind of help them understand what's going to be happening on your island. Although they take time to develop, well-placed pathways, staircases, and terrains can be a boon to viewers.